Welcome. My name is Fiona Swap and I'm here to teach you the basics of drawing invertebrates. As part of your studies, as well as writing notes in your lab books on each specimen, you should make a simple drawing alongside. This is good practice not only for referring back to, but also will build your skills for keeping good records. And you never know, one day you may publish a paper or publication in which you will also need to add a drawing or two. Your basic equipment in your pencil case should be two pencils, HB and H, a ruler, a rubber and pencil sharpener. Ideally you should also have a small magnifying glass or loupe. Your drawings will be done only in pencil. The drawings should be line work only with no grey. To create any shading you should use line or stippling. You need to add a scale bar to your final drawing. Include any labels to your work, any parts of the specimens you can identify. This does not need to be scientific names and could be as simple as head, thorax, legs, antennae, etc. Add the phyla which your invertebrate belongs and the name of the species. You will be given help with this from your demonstrators. Here is how I would tackle drawing a barnacle. Remember to use your microscope to look at your specimen so that you can note all the details that you see in your lab books. Okay, so we are about to create some basic guidelines which we'll use to keep your drawing in proportion. You will notice that I have drawn these in blue so that you can see my guidelines and how we progress. You will be using very light pencil marks to do this stage. First, look at the barnacle and see that it is oval shaped. Draw an oval in proportion to your specimen. Use your ruler to work out the dimensions. Find the centre point and mark with a cross. You will note on this barnacle that the centre has a diamond shape. If you can mark this on your drawing. You now have the basic shape of the barnacle. As you refine your drawing, you will rub out these guides. So the first step in your drawing is to remember to always keep a good point on your pencil so that lines are sharp and clean. You will notice on the specimen I have that there is a definite vertical line in the centre of the diamond shape and that there are two main pieces. If you can draw these as you see them, they are slightly rounded at the corners. Next, these segments are split by a roughly horizontal line. If you can draw these lines in carefully. The diamond-shaped aperture has a wide line, so I have added a second line to show the thickness. You now have the centre aperture complete, and you should have removed your guidelines as you were drawing this. I am going to leave mine so you can see how we progress. Onto the segments, you will notice that the two of the segment lines align with the two aperture horizontal lines. If you can draw these with slow, steady hand. I notice on this particular barnacle that the next segment lines came from halfway between the top of the aperture and the previous line. I have drawn these. While you are drawing, it is always useful to see how your lines relate to others around them. It will help you create a more accurate drawing. Also remember to keep referring back and looking at your specimen through the microscope to help to do this. It will stop you making up the lines as you go along. So the final segment lines came out from almost the bottom of the aperture. And I also noticed that the bottom segment overlapped the lower side segments. Make sure that when you are drawing that you show this kind of detail. Although this drawing is not complete, you can see now that it is a barnacle by the guidelines and the pencil lines I have drawn. We will continue to add to the drawing, marking the outline shape as accurate as possible, adding groove details. You notice I have not used any shading, only lines. At this point, you may want to add some markings that you see on your specimen. I noticed there were some small holes in the barnacle, so I have marked these with small circles. Although these may not be needed for identification purposes, you should show any interesting markings that you see on your specimen at this stage. You now have a completed drawing. Well, not quite. We still have to add the scale bar, labelling of the different parts and areas, and of course make sure you add the phyla and the name of the specimen. Your demonstrators will help you with this. I also have a few more specimens which I will give you an idea of how to draw, starting with basic guidelines. Here is how I would draw a shore crab. Remember to look and see what basic shapes you may see and can use for your guides. The first shape I see for the crab is a triangle. From this triangle, draw basic guidelines for the body, claws and legs. As you can see, at this stage you can tell it is a crab. Refine the body, add the antennae. I like to draw in a clockwork direction, so we'd start at the top right claw. Notice that this is made up of sections. I would draw the first leg and note again that this is made up of sections and quite simple shapes. Keep adding the other legs and claw until you have completed the basic shapes of each. Again, you will want to note any details that you may see. On this crab, I noticed some grooves in the shell of the body, so I've marked these with small stipple marks. On the legs, there were dark dots in a line, which I've marked, and there are also what appear to be transparent areas and hairs on the legs, which I have also marked. Note, I have not added any shading, only dots or lines as appropriate. Remember to add your scale bar, labels and specimen name to the drawing. Your demonstrators will help you with this. And here we have a beetle. Remember to measure dimensions with your ruler as you go. It is difficult with a beetle as it runs around a bit. An easier way to do this is to place your ruler under the petri dish with your beetle specimen. Okay, let's look at the beetle. So the two basic shapes I see with the beetle are two ovals. In this case, one is slightly larger than the other. I've marked a horizontal line to show the head dimension. As you can see, this looks a bit like a snowman. So if you're drawing a beetle, think snowman. Refine the shape of the beetle. Add legs and antennae guides, making sure you note exactly where they attach to the head, thorax and abdomen. As on the crab, define the body and legs one at a time. Add any details last. Remember to add your scale bar, labels and specimen name on the drawing. Your demonstrators again will help you with this. Here is the garden snail. You need to add some basic horizontal lines and offset circles within circles for the spiral. And add the tentacles. There is your basic outline. You need to refine the outline shape of the body, shell and spiral. Add basic markings and eyes. And lastly, dark areas on the shell if needed. You notice that I've done this only with line markings and not grayscale or smudged marks. Remember to add your scale bar, labels and specimen name to your drawing. Again, your demonstrators will help you with this. For the woodlouse, as you can see, I've put all the progressions onto one page. I would do a long oval within an oval and mark where the head and sections would be for my guides. Refine your drawing as before and add the final details. On this occasion, you may want to add some darker areas too. I will leave this up to you and how you would tackle it. But remember, you need to use line only or dots, some form of stippling if you're going to do this. Remember to add your scale bar, labels and specimen name to the drawing. Your demonstrators will help you with this. Here are some anemones. I won't go into much detail here, but as you can see, on the unopened anemone, I've used 2 ovals and some short guides as a base. That helps give it some form. For the open anemone from above, I've used a circle within a circle, within a circle, and then gradually drawn the tentacles. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this has given you help with your drawing skills for your specimen. I will make my way around the lab and give you advice on your drawings as you work on them, and remember to ask for help from the demonstrators on naming, labelling and adding a scale bar to your drawing. Good luck!